Hey guys, welcome back to FearlessRN. Today, as requested, I'll be doing a breakdown video on how to answer select all that apply questions. If you haven't checked out that video already, please check the description box down below or in the I button right there to see that video on tips that I share with you guys on how to answer select all that apply or SATA questions. For today, I will be going step by step on how you should answer them. Here are the steps that I use that help me to break down select all that apply questions. So the first thing you want to think about when reading these type of questions is, what is the topic? You need to know the topic in order to know how to go about answering the question. The second step is asking yourself, what do I know about the topic? So here you need to know your content. This is testing you on whether you know anything about the topic or not. Step 3. What is the question really asking? My tip when using step 3 is to rephrase the question. Rephrase the question in a way that is easier for you to comprehend, maybe a shorthand way while still keeping the topic in mind. And the last step is to eliminate. Eliminate distractors, eliminate answer choices that you know off the bat is definitely incorrect, and eliminate answer choices that are partially correct. Remember that these choices must be correct all the way through and match the topic. So those are my 4 steps on how to answer select all that apply questions. Please go back to my previous video on how to answer select all that apply questions because I do provide more tips there. Now let's use a sample question and see if these tips work. The question says, which conditions are signs of vascular insufficiency? Select all that apply. So now go back to the 4 steps that I showed you previously and tell me, what is the topic? If you said signs of vascular insufficiency, then you are correct. That is the topic. Now going to step 2 is vascular insufficiency. Basically what that means is that there's an inadequate amount of blood flow through the veins. We know that if there's anything related to decreased blood flow, that means cellular death. And when I think about vascular insufficiency, automatically I think about peripheral vascular diseases. This is definitely important to know for NCLEX. It could be common in people with diabetes, people with, what is it called again? Buerger's disease. So now that we know what the topic is and we briefly wrote out little things to help us refresh our memory, the next step, step 2, is what do you know about the topic? So content related. Content. And for the content is the signs and symptoms of vascular insufficiency. Now with this, you know that there's decreased blood flow, right? So that will mean decreased blood flow leads to decreased oxygen, leads to tissue death, and pain is result. You also have decreased pulses, dry, crack skin, edema. So this is a generalization of the content. Of course, there's more in detail, and that will be for you to look up. Just for demonstration, that is what I'll say. Now you want to go to step 3, which is, what is this question really asking? Rephrase it. But for this question, it's pretty straightforward. It's asking you, what are the signs of vascular insufficiency? Remember I said with select or let apply questions, you want to go and look at them as a true or false statement. So being they're looking at this as a true or false statement, since we know what vascular insufficiency is, we know some signs and symptoms, now we can apply true or false. But the first thing that I want to do, since I already know what the question is asking, is right off the back, eliminate. And the first thing I'm going to eliminate is what? If we know that signs and symptoms of vascular insufficiency is dry, cracked skin, decreased pulses, decreased oxygenation, then would your patient have hairy legs? False. So right there and then, that is off. Now I'm going to go back to my answer choices and read it again. Decreased pedal pulses, true or false? True. Thickened toenails. I think that is true because there's no oxygen, so it thickens up the nail beds. So that's true. And then chronic foot wounds. Is that true or false? Say that is true because there is a lack of blood flow, lack of oxygenation equals tissue death. There's no way for the cells to regenerate and help heal up foot wounds. So it will lead to chronic foot wounds. So the answer choices are, so the correct answer will be A, B, and C. Alright, so we're going to do one more question. Alright, so for this question, just in case you can't see it, it says, which of the following diagnoses require droplet precautions? Select all that apply. Varicella, rubella, streptococcal pharyngitis, scarlet fever, Shigella, or hepatitis A. So remember, the first step in answering this question is to know what is the topic. So the topic is droplet precautions, okay? The second step is, what do you know about this topic? So your content. So now you have to think about, what do you know about droplet precautions? I do have a few videos on this channel showing you a quick way on how to memorize your isolation precautions. You can stop now and go look at that video and come back, or we can just go through it here. So now you have to know what is droplet precaution. So for droplet precautions, I taught you guys that you should think about Spider-Man drops out of the sky. What diseases fall under Spider-Man? Alright, so these are the following diseases that I've included in my video as well as on my blog post, so please check that out for the full list. And now that we know the content related to droplet, you have to think again about what is this question asking you. So we know it's a straightforward question. Which of the following requires droplet precautions? So now that we have all the lists, what we have to do is eliminate. Go through your list and see what doesn't belong. You have to think, is A, droplet precaution, airborne, contact, etc. A is actually airborne. B, rubella. Is that on the list over here? Yes, so that is true. What about streptococcal pharyngitis? Yep, it sure is. What about scarlet fever? What about Shigella? Actually, Shigella is under contact. So this is contact isolation. And what about hepatitis A? Is that droplet, airborne, contact? Is it on the list? No. So it's false, and it's actually contact. Answer choices are B, C, and D. So this is how you break down select all that apply questions. And if you're interested in seeing more sample questions where we go through it together. Please let me know if you'd like to see me do more demonstrations here on YouTube or on Periscope, where it'll be live and I can take your questions there. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and it shows that it's very important to know your content as much as you can for NCLEX, because without it you are definitely going to get confused. So for this particular question, it was very easy because you either know it or you don't. And for this case, it definitely shows that you have to know what's in each precaution in order to answer this question. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please let me know if there are any topics that you'd like to see from me next. I have a list right now that I'm working on to get out to you as soon as possible. And if you are actually a nursing student or you're going to nursing school, please let me know what type of videos you would like to see as well. And don't forget to check the description box down below, where I will have a list of some videos that I've done previously. Please do follow my blog at FearlessRN.wordpress.com, where I do leave additional information along with my videos. Please follow me on Facebook on updates if I can post, or I will even be adding practice questions there too. Check me out on my social medias. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, if you found it helpful, and if you're willing to share it along with friends and family, please share it along, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you to join the FearlessRN family, where I will be sharing weekly videos here on this channel. So until then, I'll see you later. Bye.